One of the things that I found in living in this particular area of the country is that a lot of people love to fish, and many people are very concerned with water quality and also the beauty that exists within our waterways. One of the first experiences that I had in fishing was when I was fishing with my uncle and my father and my grandfather. My uncle and several other people in the boat were fishing, and he leaned over the side in order to take a large grinnell from the water, and he got so excited that he lost his false teeth in the water. And we had to send somebody into the water in order to retrieve his false teeth. Well, of course, this was futile, and my uncle very plainly stated that this was the most expensive fishing trip that he ever had.
Ever since I was a kid, I've enjoyed being around water and playing in the streams and lakes and ponds in our area. And when I was about 7 or 8 years old, my dad dug me a small pond in our backyard. And he made a handmade dip net that we'd go out and collect crayfish and bugs and small fish to stock in that pond. And that was a real treasure to me. I enjoyed being around it and watching all the living things there. And right about the time we had it all stocked out nice and full of life, a kid snuck into our yard from down the street, and he poured a can of rust remover into that pond and killed everything in it. That was my first real personal experience of water pollution and an ecological disaster.
Virtually everyone has lasting memories about water, some funny, some profound. Water plays such an important part in our lives, including the biological, social, and spiritual parts of who we are. It's natural for people to be concerned about water, especially as it affects their daily lives and their expectations of a quality life. Alabamians are water blessed, with 50 to 65 inches of rainfall per year and more than 75,000 miles of streams flowing through our state. The economic growth of Alabama depends upon ample quantities of good quality water. The founders of Alabama knew this way back in 1819 and even showed it in the design of the state seal, which features our rivers. We all use this water on a daily basis for drinking, washing, preparing food, and so forth. Water is vital for agriculture, forestry, and many industrial activities. Thousands of people regularly spend time in and on Alabama water for the pure pleasure of it. Now that's quality of life.
How well do we recognize our need for clean water today? Are we doing a good job of protecting the water that we so enjoy and depend upon? What can the average citizen do in response to water pollution that we're reading about in our newspapers more and more? Can one person or a small group of people do anything meaningful to protect a particular stream or lake they care about? Alabama Water Watch is one way for people to do something practical to help keep our water clean. Even many water professionals agree that citizen action in protecting water is essential. There's way too much of it in Alabama for a handful of government regulators to take care of. You might even consider that it is not only your privilege, but your responsibility to take a personal part in protecting our water. So what is Alabama Water Watch? Actually, the answer comes in two parts. Water Watch is a university-based program that provides training and other resources to help citizens learn more about their watersheds and to measure the quality of those watersheds using simple equipment. Water Watch is also an association of citizen groups who work together to improve their understanding of the issues facing Alabama waterways and use the information they collect to positively affect water quality and water policy in Alabama. Because only a couple of our rivers begin and end in Alabama, Water Watch also includes several citizen partners in shared watersheds of neighboring states, such as in the Upper Coosa River watershed of northwest Georgia. In a nutshell, Alabama Water Watch tries to do three things. First, to increase public awareness of water issues. Second, to train citizen volunteers to measure water quality and determine if their water body is getting better or worse. And third, to use all that information to make a difference in cleaning up or protecting our water. Water Watch monitors get their hands wet and their feet muddy. They volunteer their valuable time to learn all kinds of things about water because they care about it and know their concern and action is an important part of keeping water clean and safe.
I got involved with Water Watch when my dog got sick drinking the water out of the creek. It made me start wondering what might be in there. I'd noticed a lot of trash, and I started wondering what there was in there that I couldn't see. Started looking for a way to get involved and found Water Watch.
I noticed several years ago a deterioration in the quality of the environment of the creek. Very great deal of algae, deterioration of water quality, no vertebrates, invertebrates, a disagreeable odor from the creek. Alabama Water Watch equipped me with the knowledge, with the materials, with the resources to clear up a question in my own mind and bring it to the attention of people who could make a difference.
The first step in becoming a Water Watch monitor is to attend one of the many basic certification workshops that are offered free of charge around the state. This is where folks learn about watersheds and types of water pollution, the philosophy and goals of Water Watch, and how to use the water test kits to measure 6 different characteristics of water: temperature, pH, alkalinity, hardness, dissolved oxygen, and turbidity. Don't worry if some of those terms are not familiar to you. Everyone learns about them in clear and simple ways at the workshops, and you can ask lots of questions there too. Certified Water Watch monitors often want to keep learning about different water tests and get certified in other types of monitoring and training. Scores of Water Watch workshops have been conducted in Alabama since 1993, and now hundreds of citizens have become certified and have begun to monitor water quality in streams and lakes near their homes. The number of sites being monitored is growing almost daily and includes some places in each of the 10 major watersheds of the state. Even though hundreds of sites have been tested, there is still a long way to go to reach the goal of Water Watch, to have a citizen volunteer monitor on every stream and lake in Alabama. It's important to monitor a site on a regular basis. The rule of thumb is to test it once a month. When this is done, the information becomes a valuable record of stream conditions and trends, whether it is clean already, becoming more polluted, or recovering from pollution. Water Watch has developed procedures to make sure that the citizen information is as good as it can be. This is done by making sure all volunteers are properly trained and recertified annually, and that the test kits are well maintained with fresh chemical reagents. Of course, a lot of the responsibility for keeping the data credible falls to the monitors themselves. Careful testing and recording of information usually leads to an accurate and valuable description of the water body. As the pool of Alabama's water quality grows, Water Watch keeps looking for better and better ways to present and distribute the information so that everyone can benefit. We want teachers, planners, politicians, and the general public to have access to data so that everyone becomes more informed and streams are better protected. This is done with graphs, maps, newsletters, and in other written and electronic ways. Water watchers also try to get their information and concerns about water expressed face-to-face by such things as an annual, technical, and public information conference, and through quarterly meetings that the Water Watch Association has with the Water Division personnel of the Alabama Department of Environmental Management.
So where is Alabama Water Watch heading? Well, it seems that more people are recognizing what we're all about and appreciating what we do.
Tonight, we look at pollution in Alabama and answer the question, what can you do? These children are taking the first step to cleaning up their environment. They're finding out how polluted it is. Their teacher, B.B. Burnett, is showing them how to test the water's alkalinity, turbidity, hardness, and pH and dissolved oxygen levels. By the results, students can tell how healthy the water is, whether it can sustain life. Burnett monitors this part of the Katoma Creek as a volunteer of the Alabama Water Watch program.
It's a very important contribution to your society. I heartily encourage everybody to get involved with this. We need you as part of Alabama Water Watch.
The Water Watch program has made it so simple. We just follow step-by-step procedures on how to do it, and you don't have to have a science background. Anybody can do it. Even a child.
I don't think you can make a difference, but you really can.
As we look to the future, Alabama Water Watch has 3 goals. The first is continued growth, meeting the increasing demand for training with more workshops and more citizen monitors with more water bodies and sites tested. The second goal is strong partnerships with other groups in the state, both governmental and private, to make all our work stronger, sustainable, and more efficient. And the third goal is regular exchanges of ideas and information among citizens. This is perhaps the most important thing we do, and it's usually a lot of fun.
I just think watching what some of these teachers and other volunteers do, they're fire plugs. You just point them in the right direction, give them a menu of things to do, and first thing you know, they've gobbled all that up and they're back wanting to do more. And I've got one teacher in 4 Hour who, with her students, you point them in the right direction, give them a little training, and first thing you know, they're doing Earth Day celebrations and storm drain stencilings. They're winning local, regional, state, and national awards for some of the things they're doing.
This is an organization that, you know, it lives and dies by the grassroots organizations that are formed by citizens, community activists, people who are just, you know, just basic normal people who just want to live a good normal life in an area where there's clean water. And you know, it's a good way to learn a little bit more about your ecosystem and where you live and how it's going to affect you and your children in the future.
Our volunteers are very proud of what we do in Lake Watch. We are very proud of the fact that we're part of the Water Watch program. Frankly, that's the foundation of our organization. Without Water Watch, we really wouldn't be any kind of a viable organization that makes any kind of a difference.
Just get out there and get involved with it and clean the water up. It does make a difference.
We sometimes think of water as just having value for producing food and fiber, supporting industry, and for personal household use. But a recent study showed that the recreational value of water in Alabama, money spent by residents and tourists for fishing, boating, and other related activities, totals more than $2 billion per year. That's simply too much to throw away by letting our water become polluted. Water Watch believes Alabama's waterways are worth protecting today, tomorrow, and for future generations.
We have to think of the consequences of our actions, not only industry and agriculture, but each and every one of us. Pollution of any kind fouls the water and has the potential to harm the ecosystem, plant and animal, living in or near the waterway. After all, when it comes right down to it, we're all living downstream.
Well, Brett is a fourth generation. His family has lived on the river for third or fourth?
My kids are the fourth generation.
Kids?
A little bit about the town. The town established, well, unincorporated, but established in about 1890, I think it was. In 2006, we incorporated as a town. We have a population of about 750 people, and roughly the corporate limits is 1.5 miles by 1.5 miles, with planning jurisdiction extending out 3 miles from that.
We hired an outside consultant to to develop a comprehensive plan for the town. And surveys that they did indicated that the protection of the river was the number one priority. The number one priority?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the number one priority
top
of
three,
the.
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah, if you ask us, it's the top top priority, the only priority really. But you know, that study kind of put a mandate on. Well, you know, they gave us action plans, you know, pertinent to the study, and the primary action plan was to obtain the outstanding Alabama water status.
Alabama Water Watch, like Mr. Bentley said, was one of the best avenues by which we had to do that. And a lot of people got involved, and we had a lot of support. And I think networking through Alabama Water Watch was one of the biggest assets that we saw. They provided us avenues to meet with all kinds of groups throughout the state and outside of the state that helped us achieve that designation. So to me, that's probably the biggest asset we've seen through Alabama Water Watch.
The Alabama Water Watch kind of provided an easy way for us to interface with ADEM as we went down the course of getting the OAW designation, and that we would enter the data on the AWW website, and it was right there for the ADEM folks to look and track and monitor what we were doing and what the quality of the water was. Bill Deutsch was a big advocate for us in getting the OAW.
And speaking at the triennial review.
Sent letters.
They wrote endorsement letters, and they put us in contact with other groups that wrote endorsement letters supporting our cause.
And that database was just, it made it so easy for us because we didn't have to, all we had to do was get the data, enter it on the internet, and tell ADEM, there it is, go check it out. It's very, very user-friendly from our standpoint and from ADEM's.
The river is the backbone of the community. I mean, we wouldn't be a community, and we certainly wouldn't be incorporated if it wasn't for the river, because that's where it all started, and we know that. And so if we're going to thrive as a town and a community, we got to take care of the river. The mayor and the town council have been certified, at least in bacteria, well, I guess all of them. Yeah, all of them have been certified for chemistry, so bacteria and chemistry.
We wanted to be the masters of our own destiny and not be governed too much by what the county was doing
or by what people that don't live here might want us to do. You know, we wanted to make sure that it was evolved the way we wanted it to.
We need to get more young people involved in the town. and you know, much.
We don't have that many young people in
No,
the town.
no. We need to exactly. We need to attract young people and get them involved.
We certainly would not be where we're at today. We wouldn't have an OAW designation without Alabama Water Watch. I think that's without a doubt. Do you agree?
I know I wouldn't have put that database together like that.
There's no way.
You know, I mean,
we couldn't have done it.
Well, they provide the certification and the methods and
They basically put the infrastructure in place so that if there are any citizens out there that are willing to do, you know, really the little bit of legwork, you know, actually getting out there and collecting the data, their infrastructure takes care of everything else, basically.
I'll tell you a little incident. This is on the funny side and away from some of it, I guess. But over the years that I've monitored, Paul Anchi and I used to monitor up Nolte Creek up here. And we'd split the duties that we went in for, the things that we were going to do. He'd do some and I'd do some. We'd do them all at the same time. We pulled in up there one day and in the pontoon boat, and Paul threw out the anchor, and we all went to work. After a while, I looked around, and we weren't quite where we started this thing, you know, and wondered what had happened. And Paul threw out the anchor all right, but it wasn't tied to the boat. So I've got an anchor up there in Nolte Creek somewhere now. You can cut that out. But there are a lot of things that happened.
That's one of those lessons learned things.
Yeah, well,